Hello everybody, we now are going to start with gemorphology, rivers or fluvial, and fluvial is another name for rivers. So this is a map of South Africa and we have different drainage basins. And I'll show you, I live in Natal, so here is a drainage basin which is a river, an area drained by a river and its tributaries. So that whole area that I've just circled there is the Tugela drainage basin. It's a circular drainage basin, and you have the main river, the Tugela River, and all its tributaries. The biggest drainage basin you can see is the orange, and the orange starts in Lesotho and then it flows to Alexander Bay and into the west coast. So it starts off in a very, very high rainfall area here, and then it flows through the desert into the Atlantic Ocean. So every single different colour shown here are different drainage basins. So it's an area drained by a river and its tributaries. So I'm going to show you another one, is the crocodile. It's well known. That whole area is drained by a river and its tributaries. So you can have the main river and all its tributaries, and the area is called the drainage basin that I have now coloured in. What is interesting to note is that what separates one drainage basin from another. So for example, I'm going to change my colour. Well, I think red, I'll stick with red. Why would between here a river flow that way and a river will then flow into that drainage basin? And a drainage basin is separated because of highland. And in your textbook, on page 124, 125, and 126, it explains beautifully. And on page 126, you actually have major watersheds in South Africa, and that major watershed is the Drakensberg. So if I had to draw a map of South Africa, a rough map of South Africa, and then I'm going to, in green, draw in the major high-lying areas. I'm going to write this out. So what happens then? A river will either flow this way or it's going to flow that way. And two rivers that start in the Drakensberg, one flowing to the west and the other flowing to the east. That is an example of the Tugela that flows into KwaZulu-Natal, and here is the orange. Starts off at Lesotho and it flows through desert area here into the Atlantic Ocean. Don't forget, this is the Indian Ocean. Here is the warm Mozambique current. Here is the cold Benguela current. So I'm going to draw another picture. So here is a watershed. Separating, so rain will fall. This river will flow that way, and that river will flow this way. This will then create two different drainage basins. So I'm going to draw one drainage basin with its tributaries. Where two tributaries join together, that's called a confluence. That's that drainage basin. And I'm going to draw another one. and that is another drainage basin. But why would a river, this blue river, flow that way and this green river flow that way? Well, it has to be, because this is a watershed. This is a high-lying area separating one drainage basin from another. And what is a drainage basin? It's an area drained by a river and its tributaries. And so this would be that drainage basin. And you can see they're both circular. So somebody messaged me and asked me about a hydrograph. I'm going to draw a drainage basin. So here's a river. It's going to flow that way, and it's circular. If I was standing here, measuring this river as it flowed past, and I graphed it, what would happen? Let's say I had some rainfall. So here's the river. So what would I notice? I would notice, here's the graph, and here is time, and this is the water, H2O, the amount of water in the river. So I'm here and I'm waiting. See, I'm going to wait for this section. So the water's not going to really increase. Then all of this area will then start to flow down. So it'll increase and then decrease again. And this graph is called a hydrograph, because the water first has to infiltrate the ground. It then has to flow past where the little man is, and if he's graphing it, it's going to take time. And then you'll see an increase as all this water and its tributaries flow past, and then it dips down. And that is called a hydrograph.